Hi, welcome. My name is Alicia Thomas. I'm your Customer Success Manager, and today I'm going to be conducting your professional development in SmartPass. So here's a couple of things, or about 3 things that you're going to be able to do at the end of today's session. You're going to, one, be able to explain how students create hall passes. Second, you're going to understand the student, the teacher, and administrator views in SmartPass when a hall pass has been created. Then third, you're going to identify ways SmartPass can address unique campus needs. This is especially important as you are growing your knowledge with SmartPass. You're going to see some different ways that you can implement SmartPass to solve some of the things that you're seeing on your campus. So I'm going to jump in as a student. And this is what a student sees when they first log into SmartPass. And so let's say that the student needs to go to the restroom. They're going to come over here and they're going to create now. And they're going to select where they're currently located in the building. So I'm in Miss Bliss's class, and then I'm going to select where I want to go. These passes here were created by the school administration. And based on the student or based on where the student is located in the building, this is what they're going to see. So I'm going to go to the first floor bath here. So 3 things to notice here. This is a round trip, meaning no one is going to be in the bathroom to provide me a pass to come back to class. So this is good for going and coming back. Secondly, there's only 5 minutes. Your administrator is going to set the maximum amount of time that a student can be in the bathroom. And if I don't need that much time, if I only are going to wash my hands, a student can come over here and slide this down to share how much time they're actually going to need in the bathroom. Then I'm going to start the pass. So right here, it's going to start counting down of how much time the student has left in their pass. If the student has their own device, they may just, flip that over, let the teacher see before they're exiting the classroom. And the countdown begins for that student. But let me show you what a teacher is going to be able to see. So I'm going to come over here to a teacher. Let me come right here to this one. I'm going to refresh this right here. And I'm going to go to my room. The teacher sees in real time what that student is at, where they're at, how much time is remaining in their pass. But let's say I'm not a teacher of record. Let's say I'm just a teacher in the school building and I'm accessing SmartPass. That teacher can come over here to Hall Monitor, and they can also see in real time who is in the hall and what they're doing. And let's say that Zach is not exactly in the first floor bath as he has on his hall pass. That hall monitor can come over here to this icon and say, Zach is not where he's supposed to be. So he can write a report sharing that information to both the teacher of record and also the school administration. I'm going to say he's in the second floor bath. Okay, and I'm going to submit that. So that report has been submitted. So in real time, the campus administration, this is their dashboard. They're seeing what is going on campus at any given point in the school day. They can see the number of students being reported. They can see when passes are most frequently being sent out. All of that information is at the fingertips of the school administration. So one cool thing about that for a teacher is that there's always someone's eyes on their students when they leave the classroom. So I'm going to go over here and end this pass. And so that's just the basic application of our hall pass. Let me give you a second scenario. Let's say that Zach needs to go to the nurse. And so he's going to select again the now. And he's going to select where he is currently located. And I'm going to go over here and select nurse, but there is a lock on this. So any of the rooms where you want someone in that room to first approve before a student can come down, administrators are going to add a lock on that. So my mom was a school nurse, and there was days that she had maybe 30 students at one time in her office. So this is a great way to prevent bottlenecking in an office when that person is not actually available or can accommodate all those students. So if Zach needs to go to the nurse, he's going to come over here and he's going to request to that nurse. I'm going to select nurse B, and I'm going to say, hey, my head hurts. and he's going to send over here and send that request to that nurse. And so that nurse is going to see that alert pop up on her dashboard, and she can come over here and see who that student is. She can see also, what the reasoning is that student needs to come down. And she has some options here. She can come over here and say, I'm going to deny that pass outright. I know Zach is a student that likes to come out of class and has been down to the nurse office several times today and has not had anything really going on. He just wants to come hang out. And I can also send one with, hey, come back later, or I can send that and I can deny that pass. Zach is going to receive that message on his end that pass has been denied. And they're also going to see the messaging with that. So that's the second application there of the pass. A third application is, this is one of my favorite features, and that's if Zach needs to go to the restroom and there's already maybe 10 students down there at that bathroom and there's not enough stalls to accommodate all those students. Instead of piling in students into that restroom, we have something called the wait in line. And so Zach can request to go to the bathroom, but it's going to share that, hey, there's already enough students down there, or maybe too many students in the bathroom, so you're going to be held in a queue. And once you're in line or next in line, it's going to allow Zach to be able to write a pass to go to the restroom. I've had many a times I've sent a student down to the bathroom and they have been gone 30 minutes or 40 minutes because there's such a line going into the restroom. So that prevents students from missing that critical instructional time, and it keeps them in the classroom until they are available to go to the restroom. So that's a third application there. I'm going to give you a couple of more. First is, let's say there's two students that are often out in the hallway hanging out. And the person that's going to really notice that is the school administrator, because on their end, I'll go back to the school administration, you're going to notice here that they have the entire campus at their fingertips, and they're going to be able to see at their fingertips what passes are being created, how frequently, who is out of the classroom at the same time. And they're going to be able to see that there are 2 or 3 students that are always hanging out in the hallway at the same time, and they're going to be able to create something called an encounter prevention, which means that anytime that both of those students are attempting to get out of class at the same time, it's going to stop them. So let me show you what that's going to look like to the students. So we're going to have Zach to leave class again. We're going to have Zach to go to the bathroom. And Zach cannot leave class, or Kelly cannot leave class at the same time that Zach is trying to leave. So as soon as Kelly tries to write herself a pass, this is what's going to pop up. Sorry, you can't start your pass right now. Please try again later. These two students never know that they're on an encounter prevention, but the teacher will. And I'll show you what the teacher is going to see in just a moment. So again, that prevents students from just being out of the classroom, hanging out, and it keeps them in the classroom. So, they are not missing that in critical instructional time and getting in trouble in the hallways. Okay. So I'm going to give you the very last type of pass, which is really the future pass. So earlier I showed you what happens when a student has to or wants to request to go to the nurse's office. But let's say the nurse wants to request the student to come down. They can use something called the future pass here. And that is really like an appointment setting tool. So I want Zach to come down. I'm just going to select that teacher or that student's name. And I'm going to select here a time that I want that student to come down. It can be, within the next couple of minutes, or it can be sometime far off in the future, and it also can be repetitively. Like if the student comes down to take medication, I can also set this as being something that reoccurs. Declinable is really if a student is maybe in a testing at that time and that student cannot leave, that student can decline that pass until they're out of, they're done taking their test. But right now I'm going to select next, and I'm going to say, hey, I need you to come down to the nurse. Your mom dropped off your meds. I'm going to send that down to Zach, and Zach is going to see that pop up on his requests. And so Zach can go down to that nurse at any time. or within the next few minutes there. Okay. All right, so I've shown you several different ways to use the past here with the now and with the future, and also how you can use it for wait in line to prevent students from just piling up into the restroom. So I'm going to show you what additional things that the teacher can see on their end. And so one of the things that the teacher can see, I'm going to jump over here to this teacher account. I'm going to come over here to, let's say I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go into Zach, and I want to drill down and learn a little bit more about Zach. So I can come over here and get to this teacher view, which a lot of teachers love this because I can see how many passes Zach has created today, this week, but I can also see that Zach is on an encounter prevention. And I, as a teacher, I know some things that, others might not know since Zach is in my class frequently. I may know that Zach has been having some conflict with another student. And so I might suggest to the administration to put an encounter prevention on those two students so they do not go out of the hallway and try to have a fight or argument in the hallway. So I can see that encounter prevention set up here. I can also see pass limits. I can make suggestions to the administration to, hey, I think Zach needs a pass limit. He's been leaving my class a lot. So I can set that up or have that set up here and see how many pass limits per day or how many passes per day Zach can create. This can be done per day, and it can also be done per campus. A pass limit of maybe on campus 10 passes are created per day on that campus, and that's the max. So there's a lot of things that you can do with the pass limit here on the administrative level. On the overview, I can see that 31 passes have been created, and that's equivalent to 2 hours and 50 minutes being outside of the classroom. So this is valuable information to share if you're in a parent conference and you want to share with that parent how much time the student has been out of class. You can also tell that parent exactly what that student is doing when they're out of class, where they're going, and if there's been any reports been filed about that student being in a location that they're not supposed to be. Okay, so that is a lot of information that I've shared with you today. There's one last thing I do want to share is if you do not have a one-to-one device and you're deciding that I want instead to use something called the kiosk, that is very simple for you to use. A kiosk can be one single device in each location, and you just set it up here under My Room kiosk mode, and you would just go over here and set kiosk mode, and you can set how your student is going to identify themselves, either typing in their name, their ID, or scanning their pass. And when they do that, it's going to give them the option again to create a now pass for that to go to their any location that's available to them. Right. So I'm going to do a quick recap real quickly. I showed you the student view here, how a student can just quickly create a pass in our platform to go to a location. I showed you here that the lock key here means that they need approval before they can go down to that location. When they send that request, it's going to be alert for that that teacher in that location so they can set in and do an approval before that student comes down. I've also shown you the wait in line feature here to prevent students from just piling up in the bathroom. I've also shown you the encounter prevention that is set by your school administration to prevent students from leaving out of the classroom at the same time, that do not need to be in the hallways at the same time. And lastly, what I want to leave you is some great ways to access support. So one of the ways you can access support is through our support site, which is, if I fall back here, it's just articles.smartpass.app, where you can connect with any type of article that's going to give you a quick, video. It's also going to give you just a quick look at a couple of our features. But one of the great ways you can also access support is through me. And let me give you my email address here. And so you can contact me at any time with your questions, and I'll give you about 24 hours. I will respond with that response. So thank you so much for your time. I look forward to working with your campus this school year.